Gravik is making super Skrulls. Beto, Samuel Adewunmi, Pagan, Killian Scott, and a Skrull called Verkis preparing for a mission. Beto asks the others if they think what they're doing will work, and Pagan tells him that what they do because of their faith in a better future, and faith demands risks. Pagan gives Beto the file for the human he will be impersonating, and all three of them leave for the mission. Gravik, who shows the Skrull Council the machine that he has been developing, he reveals more of his plan, telling them that the three operatives are infiltrating the Royal Navy in order to attack a United Nations target. Gravik expects a response from the heroes of Earth, but the machine that the Daltons, Katie Finneran and Mark Baisley, have been building for him will allow the Skrulls to change powers in addition to faces, making them super Skrulls. Meanwhile, the Skrulls in the Navy take their places, with Pagan going aboard a nuclear submarine in disguise. Flashback to New York City in 1998. Fury walks into a diner to meet with a Skrull friend. The friend in question is Priscilla, who is revealed to be Vara, the Skrull we saw introducing Fury and Gravik in Episode 2. She gives Fury an envelope that she says should put Dracov's men on their heels. Fury and Priscilla initiated their romance over a cup of coffee. Back to the present, Fury makes breakfast while watching TV pundit Chris Stearns, Christopher McDonald, secretly a member of the Skrull Council. Priscilla makes coffee, and they get to talking about how it's been years since Fury came home. She asks Fury why he's back after all this time. He tells her that he's retired now, and he's thinking of picking up a new hobby, revenge. Fury asks Priscilla if she's been in touch with Gravik, implying that he suspects her of being part of the rebellion. She evades the question, and through their conversation, we find out that she survived the snap and mourned him until he returned in the blip. But after that, instead of staying with her, he chose to run away to space. She then gets a cryptic phone call. Priscilla tells Fury it wasn't important, but he still has his suspicions. Back at New Skrullos, Gravik's starting to get suspicious too, as he wakes Gia, Emilia Clarke, and confronts her about how the police found their safe house. She tells him Brogan, Ben Peel, obviously cracked under torture. Gravik isn't so easily fooled, but he lets it go for the time being. Talos and Gravik meet. The next day, Gravik and Gia fly to London, where Gravik reveals he is going to be meeting with Talos, Ben Mendelsohn, for a parley to talk about her. While they are on the way to the meeting place, Gravik answers a call saying, the UN plane will be at Neptune's coordinates, 2,200 hours. Gravik then meets Talos at the London Portrait Museum, delivering a speech about generals and soldiers. They move to a cafe, where Gravik goads Talos and the older Skrull suggests an honor meeting, presumably a form of Skrull trial by combat using knives. Gravik dismisses the idea, and continues to push Talos' buttons, bringing up the fact that Gia is with him. Talos attacks Gravik, only for all the other people in the cafe to reveal themselves as Skrull rebels. Realizing he's surrounded, Talos tries to tell Gravik that humans are at their most formidable when facing a common foe. Once Gravik brings up Gia again, Talos stabs Gravik's hand with a knife and chokes him, telling the rebel general to keep his daughter's name out of his mouth. He then walks away, leaving Gravik to sullenly heal his injured hand, with what could either be normal Skrull healing or some form of extremis. Outside, Gia, in the form of an old man, bumps into Talos and gives him a phone, handing him the details of the planned strike. Later, Fury finds Talos and tells him that he's found a lead on a Skrull placed high up in the US government who is in London, possibly Rhodey. Talos is still mad at Fury after their argument in Episode 2, and tells him that he no longer works for him. So if Fury wants something, he has to ask for Talos' help. Begrudgingly, Fury concedes, and the two leave together. Gia, and Fury identifies Neptune as a British sub. He then calls Sonia Falsworth, Olivia Colman, who has now discovered the camera he left in her office. She tells him off for spying on her, but still gives him the name and address of the submarine's commander, Commodore Robert Fairbanks, whom Fury calls Bob. Fury and Talos try to prevent World War III. On the way to Bob's house in Portsmouth, Fury and Talos get into another argument about how Fury undervalues Talos' contributions. Talos tells Fury that if it wasn't for him and the other Skrulls, Fury would never have become the world's top spy. Once again, the chemistry between these two characters is a delight as they bicker like old friends. They reach Bob's house and infiltrate it, with Talos going ahead and Fury killing some Skrull guards before following him. Coincidentally, Fury knew it was a trap because Talos called him Nick, and in Fury's words, "Nobody calls me Nick, Bob." Talos tells Fury that he's captured Bob, but it's really Bob who has Talos at gunpoint and is trying to lure Fury into a trap. However, Fury has Bob's son and forces the rebel to let Talos go. At the same time, the submarine is getting into position, and they have already received the command to fire on the UN flight, with Pagan undercover on the ship to ensure things go according to plan. As they prepare to fire, Fury and Talos question Bob, who refuses to give them the code to abort the mission. He also reveals that Gravik had offered Talos a partnership, which Talos refused. Bob brings up Gia, which prompts Talos to shoot and kill him. With time running out, Talos calls Gia and has her find the code from the memories of the real Commodore Fairbanks. But in order to do that, she is forced to blow her cover. The code turns out to be the name of Bob's son, and Talos manages to give the command in time to stop the strike, finally giving Fury a much-needed win. The launch is aborted, and Pagan is captured. Now that her cover is blown, Gia runs from New Skrulls. As Fury and Talos remove the dead Skrull's body, Fury asks Talos why he didn't take Gravik's deal. Just as Gia is leaving the Skrull compound, she is intercepted by Gravik. In a surprise twist, he reveals that the strike was a decoy that he used to root out the traitor. Gravik then shoots Gia, giving us our second major death after Maria Hill, Kobe Smulders. Back at the Fury residence, Priscilla Vara gets a message and leaves, heading to a bank where she retrieves a safe deposit box. Inside it is a gun. She then gets a call from an unknown person who sounds a lot like Rhodey, which reveals that she's working for Gravik, just as Fury suspected.